You know what I'm here for.
Back on top, punching the clock, clutching sanity.
What's good, y'all? Welcome back. I apologize for not uploading in the last week. It's been a busy time, but I'm gonna get back on schedule, and we're gonna start that today talking about another trade article from Bleacher Report. Those are always exciting to read, so I'm looking forward to it. Leave a like and subscribe if you're new. It's my birthday today, so I think it's appropriate to leave likes and subscribe a lot today. So let's go ahead, hit some new like goals or whatever, and I would appreciate it. But let's go ahead and check out this article. So as you see here, this was released January 16th, so Sunday, by Dan Fable of BR. Shout out to him. Most intriguing landing spots for the NBA's top trade targets. And you see the cover are a couple Kings players, Harrison Barnes and Buddy Hield, who have been in trade talks for like the last 3-4 years and have not been moved yet. So maybe this will finally be the time when we see one or both of these guys get moved. But let's check out the first guy in the article, and it is Harrison Barnes. Okay, interesting. Harrison Barnes and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Face value, I think this would really fit what Minnesota needs. They need kind of bigger wings. They run a lot of Anthony Edwards at the 3, and Harrison Barnes is a vet. He brings a veteran type mindset, which I think this team kind of lacks a little bit, and it shows sometimes late in games how they can kind of just get isolation heavy between D'Lo, Cat, and Ant Edwards. It can get kind of messy for them late games. I think they need somebody. They already got a guy like Patrick Beverley who's had a big impact in that locker room. I think Harrison Barnes would fit that mold so well, and he's just very valuable, man, and he can guard multiple positions. He stretches the floor out well. He can play some 3, he can play some 4. I would love this move by the Timberwolves. I would be interested to see what they would have to give up. Yeah, it says here that they might have to give up Jaden McDaniels, which I wouldn't be too opposed of if I was the Timberwolves, but Naz Reid is kind of tough because he plays some very valuable basketball. His team's not really that deep at the big man spot. Naz Reid is very good for them. I'm not sure if I think I would want to give up Naz Reid, but we'll see if they do. They're saying here that the Timberwolves are a team that's consistently in Ben Simmons talks too, but I think Harrison Barnes can shore some of the issues that you do have with this team without having to give up as much as you would for Ben Simmons. The next guy, De'Aaron Fox, man. De'Aaron Fox has been in trade talks a lot more recently, and like a little backstory, like the 76ers have said that they don't see Fox as a valuable asset for what they want for Ben Simmons, and I kind of see why, because Joel Embiid's a dude that, you know, when it's playoff time, he's gonna get a lot of double teams, and you want to kick out to a guy that knows how to play well without the ball. De'Aaron Fox is not a good jump shooter. It would definitely be like more idealistic for like them to get Tyrese Halliburton back if they were going to make a trade with the Kings. But yeah, this is interesting though. Indiana Pacers. I want to see what this says. The only thing I'm not liking about this, it just kind of puts the Pacers back in that let's be a borderline playoff team again, and I don't like that. I just want the Pacers to fully hit the rebuild. I think for the Kings, they can get a nice deal in return. I mean, it says here maybe you can get Miles Turner, Karis LeVert in return, because De'Aaron Fox is still very good and he's still very young, 24 years old. Even though this is kind of a down year for him, he's still a very impactful player. But as for the Pacers, I don't like it. I think, well, one, we don't really know what the Pacers really want to do. If they want to fully rebuild or they just want to kind of revamp. I think they should go full rebuild, but Sabonis is that good that you could probably hit a nice little decent reset, but I don't think it's going to be anything that would drastically change them for what they've been for like the past 7 years, and that's just a mediocre playoff team. I don't really like that, man. I'm not sure where De'Aaron Fox could get moved to that would make sense. I see a lot of people say like New Orleans would be a good spot, but I mean, outside of that, I can't really think of any, and Indiana's not a place where I'm saying, oh, De'Aaron Fox, he will fit in there perfectly. I'm not liking that one. Off to an iffy start, man. But Jeremy Grant, I've seen this a couple times on like, you know, Twitter and stuff, people drawing up trades. The only thing is you might have to give up a decent amount of your core to get Jeremy Grant, because everybody wants him. Everybody that is a playoff contender, they want Jeremy Grant on their roster. Lakers, Utah Jazz, probably the Nets probably want to get Jeremy Grant somehow. Like everybody wants a piece of Jeremy Grant, but the Grizzlies is kind of touchy right now because you might have to give up like some young dudes like a Brandon Clark, like a Zaire Williams, and I'm not sure about that right now, because one thing about this team that is so well and why they're playing so well is their depth. They have a very good deep team. They go into, you know, the 9th, 10th guy in the rotation sometimes, and I'm not sure if I would want to give up a Brandon Clark or you know, maybe a Xavier Tim. I'm not sure for real, because these guys all have very valuable roles on this team. Now you do get Jeremy Grant back, which will be a big time lift up. I mean, he probably walks in as like the second, third offensive option, maybe third because Jaren Jackson's been playing so well, but that just makes his team even more versatile. And I think that would be them kind of pushing their chips all the way in, like, we think we can make a run this year, so why not? It'd be interesting, but this guy Jeremy Grant, everybody wants him. He's gonna be on everybody's radar, and it might take a little bit to get him because he's such a hot commodity. It's even saying here, like, the Grizzlies would have to hope that the Pistons would be willing to, like, accept pennies on the dollar, like a lower tier deal, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think teams are gonna offer, whatever they can to get Jeremy Grant. And it says here, like, you might have to throw in a pick, Zaire Williams, Brandon Clark, Dylan Brooks. That is a lot. That's a lot for a guy that's not even an all-star. I don't know about that. Oh, Eric Gordon to the Suns. Eric Gordon to, I like this. I like this. I'm gonna read what it says, but face value, I like what this looks like. Yeah, I mean, this is the trade package that I've seen every Phoenix Suns mock trade drawn up. Like, it's Jalen Smith, Dario Saric, and picks. Like, that's that's everything that is, like, surrounding the Phoenix Suns. That's what all their trades look like, because they don't really have a lot to give up, and their salaries are tied into, D-Book, Chris Paul, and some other guys too. Mikal Bridges got an extension. That's where most of their money's tied up to. But face value, like, having Eric Gordon would be just a perfect move. I would love that move for the Suns, because I think he would just be a better version of what Landry Shamet's giving you. And Landry Shamet's, like, he's cool, but I think Eric Gordon's more consistent. He's a vet. He's been in playoff battles before. I think he would be exactly what this Phoenix Suns team needs, especially off that bench. I think him, Cam Payne off the bench, Cam Johnson, that would be just a nasty bench unit. I love that. And then for the Rockets, Jalen Smith, I think he's somebody that has really big upside. I mean, from what I've seen from him so far this season, he's shooting the three ball a little more confidently. I know he got off to a tough start, but when I've watched him, he looks a lot more confident shooting his jump shot. And he's had games where he's, been blocking a lot of shots. He's had some big games. He's been rebounding the ball pretty decently too. I think he's somebody that, Houston should definitely take a look at if they do decide to pull the trigger on this potential deal. I would love that for both sides. I think this is a deal that makes sense for sure. Interesting, Buddy Hield to the Celtics. This is not something that I've really heard. Let me read what it says real quick. Yeah, this is exactly what I was thinking when I seen this trade, because Buddy Hield's such a good jump shooter, and that's what the Celtics are lacking, among some other things. But I mean, Grant Williams is your best three-point shooter. He's been shooting the three-point shot really well, but if he's your best three-point shooter, that's why your offense looks piss poor sometimes. And basically what he's saying is it's going to be tough for the Celtics to pull off this type of deal. I mean, you just probably have to hope that the Kings would just be willing to shed Buddy Hield's, salary, maybe get like some, lower tier picks in return. It's going to be tough to get this deal done. You probably have to give up Josh Richardson, Hernan Gomez, and maybe picks. Like, that's what it's saying here. It's kind of touchy. And then it says at the bottom, it says if the Celtics can swing a De'Aaron Fox trade while retaining Jaylen Brown, they should investigate it. I don't think that it would probably be possible for them unless you're willing to, like, give up a Rob Williams maybe. That's the only way I could kind of think, like, a young guy that still is growing. I think maybe that's the only way you could probably get a De'Aaron Fox, and also throwing picks and stuff in, maybe Romeo Langford and Neesmith and those guys. But the idea sounds good, but I don't think that it would be possible for the Celtics to get De'Aaron Fox without giving up Jaylen Brown. But if they could somehow pick up De'Aaron Fox and keep JB and JT, I think that makes the Celtics a little more dangerous, because they haven't played with, I think, somebody of De'Aaron Fox's caliber. As far as, like, playmaker, I think De'Aaron Fox is definitely an above average playmaker in my eyes. I think he is. He's just playing a different role this year because Tyrese Halliburton is kind of taking over the playmaking roles. But I think he's somebody that is a plus playmaker for sure. And like Brown, Tatum, they play with guys like Kyrie Irving, guys like Terry Rozier. These guys are gifted scorers. Kemba Walker. These guys are gifted scorers from the point guard spot. So it's not like these guys aren't looking to dish out 7-8 assists a game. I think De'Aaron Fox will be able to buy into that role and be the playmaker that they have not played with so far in their careers. Caris LeVert to the Raptors. This kind of interesting. I want to see what it says here, because when I see Caris LeVert, I want him in Cleveland so bad, but it might be tough for them to pick up, somebody of Caris's caliber. So let's see what they say. All right, so Dan wrote that, they could probably, like, try and convince them to take Goran Dragic's contract, some picks, Malachi Flynn, Delano Bland, who's a rookie, who's been playing well. Yuta Watanabe, who's been playing decent. Yeah, if I'm Indy, I want somebody like, I would definitely want somebody in return that's a young asset. I would shoot for Gary Trent. I would shoot for OG Anunoby. I don't think that's possible by just giving up Karis LeVert, but I wouldn't try and settle for Malachi Flynn, for Blanton and those guys. But if you do shed Karis LeVert, I would just, that you want young talent back, but I think they could shoot a little bit higher than this, and I think he could get, more value in return. Karis LeVert could. He's still a very good player. This season's been kind of up and down for him, but this just seems like they're kind of settling, man. The team that wants to, hit the reset a little bit, seems like they're settling. So I think they could do a little better. And then for the Raptors, I don't really know what sense this really makes. You already got a lot of guys like in that wing aspect. I'm not sure why. If you want anybody from the Pacers, it should be Miles Turner. Like, point blank, it should be Miles Turner. So I don't like this trade for either side. Seeing this a lot. I've been seeing this a lot, man, and I'm just so interested. We can already like picture what it would look like the trade. It probably include like John Collins. But what are you getting in return that's like, I don't know. Like, Cam Reddish is no longer there, so it's like you're not getting Cam Reddish back. Let me see what Dan has to say, because I'm interested to see what kind of trade he thinks is possible. So, this trade could get kind of messy, and I think Ben Simmons could help shore up some of the Hawks, defensive woes. But it's saying here like they would want it to attach Tobias Harris, so that's a lot. That's a lot of money. So John Collins has to be involved. Probably Bogdanovich has to be involved. Danilo Gallinari has to be involved, and probably more assets. That's a lot. Like, that's just a lot of working pieces. I don't think this is possible, and I don't even think like do the Sixers settle that much? Do they settle that much? You were talking about getting James Harden just a year ago. You were talking about getting Damian Lillard in the offseason. Like, do you settle this much? If that's the case, you should just settle for CJ McCollum and Robert Covington, like, honestly. Because I don't know how much better John Collins makes his team. I just don't see it. Bogdanovich, how much better are the Philadelphia 76ers? I don't like it at all. And last one, Miles Turner to Portland. My thing with Portland, I don't know what direction they want to go in. I guess they are hell-bent on keeping Damian Lillard around. Whatever, man. I'm gonna read it, but what I'm gonna say first is Anthony Simons is giving them every single reason in the book to be comfortable hitting the reset button. But the front office is so ignorant to the fact that they think they can win a championship with Dame, as their main star, which I'm not saying Dame cannot be the main piece of a championship team. I'm saying he can't do that in Portland. It will take something crazy to happen for this team to be a championship team, man. Get well soon though, Dame, because they said he might miss the rest of the season, which sucks for sure. It's just like, they got pieces to move and stuff, but why? Like, yeah, if you get Miles Turner, you're probably a better team. Your defense is gonna be better, but I don't think this moves the needle at all. You might be a playing team now, maybe, and that's maybe. Like, it depends on what you give up. I don't like it, bro. I don't like it. But if I'm Indy, give me Anthony Simons. Give me Anthony Simons. If I'm Indiana, that's what I want in return. Cause man, Anthony Simons, I know it's only a couple weeks sample size, but he's giving you every reason in the book to be comfortable hitting the reset button. But it's Portland, man. It's Portland. We always love talking trades. The deadline's about a month away, maybe a little less now. So we've only seen a couple moves, so hopefully it starts to ramp up a little bit, man. Because I want to see some teams make moves that moves the needle a little bit. Is the Warriors gonna do something? Will the Nets do something now that KD's gonna miss some time? I don't know. Lakers, we know, they're always in trade talks. I want to see some action, man. I'm tired of talking about the hypotheticals, but I do enjoy reading these articles to see, what teams can potentially acquire new talent and how that talent will look in that roster. It's always interesting what potential trades could happen, but man, I just want to see some actual trades go down, some blockbuster stuff.
Off season. Let's work. Hey, plotting my escape this game.